The Holy Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to John.
Glory to you, Lord Christ.
Before the festival of the Passover, Jesus knew that his hour had come to depart from this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The devil had already put it into the heart of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray him. And during supper, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, got up from the table, took off his outer robe, tied a towel around himself. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel that was tied around him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Christ. The Lord is my portion, therefore will I hope in him.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Jim Finley, and I've been sharing retreat reflections here this weekend at your wonderful parish. And I've been invited to share the homily this morning. I think what we can assume in faith, that everything Jesus said to the disciples is a revelation of what God's always saying to us. Whatever Jesus did for the disciples, it's a revelation of what God's always doing for us. And whatever it is that Jesus asked the disciples to do for one another, is what God's always asking us to do for each other. And therefore, if we look on it this way, how are we to understand what Jesus does when he washes the feet of the disciples at the Passover? I don't think it helps to take it literally, as in we're all to go home and get out basins of water, and we can do that. But what's it mean really in day-by-day life? Like, what would that mean in the practical realities of day-by-day life, and what this means to wash one another's feet? And to get at this, I'd like to share with you a moment that I saw with my wife on the Dr. Oz show. And I say this as a psychotherapist who worked with married couples and so on relationships and families. It was a husband and wife were there, and Dr. Oz was talking to them about their life at home. And he was talking about stress at home. And he says, well, what's an example of what stresses you? And she said, well, her husband was standing right there next to her. What he does is he opens the refrigerator and he drinks milk out of the carton. I've asked him over and over and over again not to drink milk out of the carton. She said, when we were growing up, we were never allowed to do that. I've told him how much it bothers me that he does it, and he keeps doing that. Now, as she was saying this on national television, and there was a little edge to her voice, you could tell it bothered her, he laughed. He laughed. Now, I want to say something as a psychotherapist. Put the pause button on, and we're going to listen to her heart, what goes on inside of her heart. And this is the voice inside of her heart. You know, you want me to love you, and you want me to feel safe with you, and you want me to be intimate with you. And yet, even though I've asked you over and over not to do something that really does bother me, you keep doing that. Not only do you keep doing it, but when I show you it hurts that you do that, you're amused. You're amused. You are entertained by the distress that you're causing me. See, that hurts. That hurts. See? Now, if she would tell him this, they're driving home and she's kind of quiet in the car from the Dr. Oz show. She's not in a talky mood. He says, what's going on? They're sitting in the living room and she says this to him. She comes out and she tells him this. Now when she comes out from behind the curtain and gets open with him, in a way she's starting to wash his feet. That is, she's being intimate with him at the feeling level about what's going on in her heart and how they treat each other. Now I'm going to be him washing her feet. I'm going to do the foot washing talk to the beloved. One thing a husband never wants to hear is his wife saying we need to talk. And she said it, so I want to be the husband. It's embarrassing to me. I didn't see this before, but I apologize. I apologize. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. And you're right about me laughing, but to tell you the truth, my dad used to treat my mom that way, and he would laugh. He treated me that way, and he would laugh. I learned it there. And when I married you, honest to God, it was not my intention to bring that with me into this marriage, but I do. See? We could do a replay on this, and if they have teenage children at home, and what that is to wash each other's feet, and how they talk to each other, and how they respond to each other. And it's always a two-way street. It's always a two-way street for the teenage children to realize what it is to be on the what it is for their parents to be on the receiving end of their behavior, in the tone that they use, how they respond. But for the mother and father to be aware of what it's like for their son and daughter to be on the receiving end of their behavior. And if we're irritable with our children, we're stressed, we're short with them, see, and they go to the room and they close the door, and they don't hear a knock at the door, and it's us saying, can we talk? I want to apologize for the tone I used with you. I had no right to use that tone with you. This willingness to wash each other's feet, that is the willingness to stay vulnerable with each other on what it's like to be on the receiving end of our behavior. An image I would use in therapy sometimes is imagine there's a wire going out of your heart to the person's heart. And when you talk to them or drink out of the milk carton, what they feel in your body, like an electric current, will come back and you feel the pain in your body that they feel in yours. So that if their feelings are hurt, your feelings are hurt. If they feel frightened, you feel frightened. Thich Nhat Hanh says, the essence of love is that I see you, dear one, and I'm here for you. And I would not intentionally ever do anything on purpose to hurt you. Life's hard enough without us making it hard on each other in this house. Let's keep trying over again every day. And here's what makes it so good. Anyone in a family knows when it comes to living up to love like this, at this honest, vulnerable level, there's a lot of slippage. There's a lot of slippage. We slip in. Under stress, we regress. Also, it's delightful to know that when you're stressed, your edges are showing. But the people in the family know it's how you act when you're under stress, and they cut you some slack. Because you don't need to be perfect in this house. No one needs to be perfect in this house. And it's a good thing for all of us, because none of us are. But one thing is we love each other. At least we try to love each other. And so to wash each other's feet is that kind of up-close vulnerability of a kind of a humility and empathy and tenderness towards each other, to be patient with each other. We also wash each other's feet when we challenge each other in a respectful way. If we let the other person keep doing hurtful things and we don't say anything, we're not really honoring love. But if we confront them on it in a loving way, there's something going on here, and to be honest, I'm concerned about you. You don't need to agree with me. but I need to tell you, I'm really concerned about you. Let's talk. That willingness to stay real with each other, day by day by day. This is why we really don't need to search for a spiritual director. Our spiritual directors are the people we live with, because they grind us like wheat. They grind us like wheat, if we let them, if we let them. And when people hang in there for us and they wait for us, it helps us wait for ourselves. And when we dare to be courageous enough to say the scary thing, because it really matters, and we see it through with each other, then it becomes a home. It becomes a home. So I think Lent is a good time. We're always talking about what can we give up for Lent. When I was growing up, the joke was always you wanted to give up cigars and watermelon. What would it be like to give up whatever it is that I'm doing that hurts your feelings? See? Unnecessarily hurt your feelings. And how could I give up what in me hesitates to come to you to apologize and say, I'll try harder? What if she would say, about the milk carton and all of it? And he says, I got an idea. Let's go to the store and we'll buy 2 milk cartons. One will be your milk carton and the other one will be our milk carton. And you can drink out of your milk carton all you want, and we'll love to see you enjoying drinking out of your milk carton. And I'll enjoy, he says, watching all of you drinking, pouring glasses into all of yours. And that's how we learn to meet each other halfway, where we try to. And I think this is to watch each other's feet. And I think this makes for a happy home. And I think the work of love is that's the deep Lent in our heart, I think. Thank you.